realize I look ridiculous with the headphones on and the horns, but I have to monitor my audio some way. Let's talk about some barbarians. Ice Planet Barbarians. Wow, what a journey it's been. I got a TikTok comment on my booktok. By the way, follow me. It's really fun over there. I got a comment, someone saying, you should read Ice Planet Barbarians. I read it, and oh my God. Nobody warned me what type of rabbit hole I was about to enter. Nobody warned me. I've read 12 books. Do I ever want to leave? No. I don't ever want to leave here. I literally bought these costume horns and painted them blue. Okay, that's how in this hole I am, and I don't ever want to get out of it. If you're like me and you're a little weary of entering the universe, a video for people who maybe you don't want to read it and just kind of want to know the plot, or two, you kind of want to decide, is this something I really want to dive into? Because let me tell you, once you dive in, it's hard to stop. Okay, so you have Georgie. Okay, Georgie is our main FMC here. She is a human woman. Obviously, gets abducted by aliens. Did I mention she is from Florida? Abducted by aliens in the middle of the night. That's where the book starts. You don't get any build up, nothing. You are abducted. You're on this ship. And they describe the aliens as basketball head aliens. She said they almost look like they have basketballs for heads, which was a little hard for me to visualize. They're not up to no good. It never explicitly states kind of what they're up to, but it kind of strongly implies that they're meaning to sell them in this sexual servitude, that's the word I'm going to use, situation. When she gets in there, she wants to scream because obviously this is terrifying. Luckily, one of the other more prominent characters of all the girls who got abducted, her name's Kira, basically tells her, do not scream. Do not scream. Whatever you do not scream. We do find out later what exactly happens when they scream. Unfortunately, this is the one part of the first book that I do think it would have been nice for Ruby to have just removed, to be completely honest. It does, I would say, lightly describe a assault to one of the girls who does scream. Other people who review this book say they thought it was too much. I personally didn't think it was that intense of a description. Maybe that just depends on how sensitive you are to that subject, but clearly we have learned that if you disobey, scream, or become ornery at all, you will suffer. The basketball head aliens who are running this ship end up having issues with the ship, and they end up crashing on an ice planet. Basketball head aliens decide just to basically abandon these girls there, back and get them once they're able to figure out what they can ship fixed and figure out the whole situation. But of course, these girls don't really know exactly what's wrong with the ship because there's only one of them that can understand them, and that is Kira, the girl from earlier. She can understand them because she has a translator device in her ear, which they gave her, which was very painful and not fun for her, but she can't understand them. But even she wasn't totally able to make out exactly what happened, besides just they were having malfunctioning issues. They had to land. They left them there. So Georgie, kind of being the leader of the group, was like kind of being one of the bravest girls in the group, kind of become the de facto sort of leader. And she was like, you know what? We're crashed on this ice planet. I'm going to go out and try to get some help. Okay. I'm just going to do my best. Now, mind you, this girl's in pajamas and Antarctica level snow. Ice. Like, this is how frosty this ice planet is. But she was like, I don't care. We have to do something. We're going to die. Like, we're going to die if we just sit here. So I'm going to just take a hit. I'm going to just try. So she leaves and doesn't make it very far before she gets caught in a trap. Can you guess whose trap it is? Let's talk about Vectel. So Vectel is as the humans call them, blue aliens that live on this planet. He goes to check his traps and he sees a passed out Georgie in his trap. Well, he has no idea what a human being is. He doesn't know what a human being is. He doesn't know what this thing is. He's just kind of mesmerized by it because clearly he's never seen a pale-faced human before. Okay, because he doesn't even know what human beings are. So funny is when you're reading this in the book with the dialogue, I don't recognize the thing squirming in my trap. This is new. I approach it cautiously, my blade drawn. A moment ago it was dancing and writhing, and now it's gone limp. The smell is Khui. That's the name of his people. And yet not. Curious, I poke it with the tip of my sword to see if it'll jump once more. but it does not. The wind is picking up, the cold air preparing for the little moon's arrival. The twin suns, oh yeah, there's 2 suns and 2 moons. Forward, I slice the cord binding its legs, and it flops to the ground, lying in the snow. And then I am shocked anew, as my Khui resonates inside me. My inward being, which has lain dormant for so long, which recognizes no mate amongst my people, it vibrates and sings at the sight of this new creature. I stare at it, my thoughts confused and whirling. I snatch it into my arms and sprint for the nearest hunting cave. Reading this for the first time because you have no idea what this man is talking about, you're like, what is he talking about, a Khui, and resonating? And it actually takes you a little bit of the book to kind of understand what he's meaning. But he constantly talks about this Khui over and over again. How his Khui's resonating, his Khui's doing this, Khui's doing that. Like, he's obsessed with his Khui. I'll just go ahead and spoil it for you since this is what you're here for this video for. This Khui is a heartworm. All of these Khui people who live on this ice planet have to survive, that allows them to have the necessary means to survive. It also chooses their mates. Yes, this book is full of fated mates. Khui, or his little worm, his little heartworm, will vibrate in his chest once it knows that his mate is there. That is called resonance. Another word you will hear him say over and over and over again. The Khui is a central part of who they are as Khui. Obviously, that's where the name comes from. And once it picks, that's it. It does cause both of the partners in the situation to become absolutely obsessed with each other. The Khui men, they get extremely possessive. Okay, so that's why he just like snatched her up and took her, because that's something that is a common theme throughout all the books. It kind of just makes you want to just snatch that person and keep them safe and hide them away. It's sort of low-key like mating frenzy. If you ever read books with mating frenzy, you'll know what I mean. It's just like that. And so he takes her, brings her back to the cave, puts her down because he has no idea what this thing is. He just resonated to her out of just pure curiosity, of course. He strips her down and becomes very curious about the differences between her body and his. Haphazardly, because she's literally passed out, sort of just have her legs open, and yeah, he just can't resist, okay? He can't resist. And y'all give my man a break, okay? He's an alien. He doesn't get human consent and stuff yet. Georgie will show him, okay? But he just cannot help it. He gets so overwhelmed by her and the resonance, which makes them super, super horny. Like, super horny. Overtaken. And he just dives right in. And that's where that chapter ends. Caught her in a trap. He took her. And he just dived right between her legs, you know, and just eating in that lunchbox, just having him a great time. Okay, so Georgie wakes up to this happening. And she's like, obviously completely overwhelmed. Like, what in the world? Okay, alien blue man is between her legs and she doesn't really know. And she's like, so immediately she sort of kicks at him. And as soon as she kicks at him, he's like, he stops. You know, so any resistance he's always going to respond to. But of course, in this moment, she doesn't know who this man is, okay? She resists him. He backs off. But he is confused. Like, in his dialogue, he's like, why would she not want me? Like, I just want to please her and I just want to love her. They resonate. Their mates literally become their entire reason for existence. And you'll hear in all the books, like, that's what they say. Like, that is their whole world now. And it's just that easy. Realizes, wait, she doesn't have a Khui. Like, it didn't settle for him right at the moment. They're like, oh, this is a whole nother species. And have the heartworm that motivates her to feel the feelings that I do. And also, they cannot speak the same language. So, and basically throughout the whole middle of the book, okay, is her trying to convince him to help her go back to her friends in a broke down spaceship because they're cold and freezing and starving, so she can get back to them and maybe he can help them, feed them, give them some fire, something, you know. He over here doesn't know what she's talking about. He's just completely obsessed with her pussy. All he wants to do is just mate with her. Like that, because that is literally their thing. Like, that's what he's supposed to be doing. Because they can't communicate. She can't tell him what she wants. He can't tell her what he wants. Really interesting and absolutely hilarious moments with him too. Like, her trying to take a bath was hilarious. So there's a spring and she tries to take a bath and there's these like giant monstrous fish in there that can eat your face. That's a whole nother thing. And then when they're in the bath, he's constantly trying to touch her and she's just like, and she has to stop him. Like, it's absolutely hilarious. With time, as she's trying to work with him to the girl spaceship dying, basically, Georgie starts to get a little warm toward Vectel. She starts to like him. She's like, dang, like, he's totally obsessed with me, you know? Like, kind of starts to appreciate him. And he is a 7-foot tall, ripped blue alien, you know. So she just decides, you know what? Motivate him to take me back to my spaceship. I will barter with him that I'll sleep with him if he will just take me to my friends. It happens lots of times. There is lots of copulation in this book. Realizes like, whoa, this is way better than I would have ever dreamed. Dumbfounded by how good the copulation is. I mean, she just can't even believe it. Okay. And she keeps wanting to do it. Like, she's getting into this now. Like, she is absolutely kind of falling for him. Like, she thinks he's kind of adorable. Him mocking the way she sounds is absolutely hilarious. If you read this, you have to read it with the audiobook. You have to. Okay. You got to promise me you will read this with the audiobook. Okay. Take it back to the friends. Okay. And Vectel, is about quaking in his boots when he sees that there is so many human women here that are all of childbirthing age. He is extremely excited about that because you learn that the Khui are very, very population dense right now because there are a lot of males and not a lot of females in the Khui. Okay. And he is ecstatic about this because it means that maybe his people could continue their line. Journey of making it back to the spaceship with the girls. You learn they pass through what's called the Elder's Cave, which actually is a spaceship. The Khui did not understand what spaceships are. Like, they do not get at all that spaceships are a thing or anything flying in the stars. Like, that's totally foreign to Khui. They very much live a very grounded and almost caveman-like lifestyle. Was a cave of their elders. She realizes it's a ship. She's like, oh, this would have like computer settings. Maybe it could tell me more about where I'm at, the language you speak. Maybe I could learn how to learn it, like something. So she gets in there and starts talking to it. Starts talking to the spaceship, and it literally talks to her like Siri. Like, that's what it does. She asks about his language, and she's able to get it beamed into her brain. Literally a red beam. She's able to get it beamed into her brain. Still freaks out because when she gets it beamed, she kind of temporarily passes out. Though she's able to understand him. They have some more smexy time. Mentions that he just cannot wait to see her full of his babies. It's like, what do you mean? Like, you're an alien? Like, this isn't happening. And throughout this whole time of them having this, alien copulation, you hear her say, like, it's so good that I don't have to worry about birth control because you're a whole nother species. Like, how good for me. And of course, he can't understand her, so he doesn't know she was saying that. But now that they can, and he talks about her being full of his babies, she's like, huh? Has a complete panic and meltdown, but eventually kind of comes to terms with it and realize, you know what? Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, I'll stay. I'll have your alien babies. I'm into this, They finally get the girls rounded up with the help of some of Vectel's other Khui male friends. Get the girls situated. They help them get their heartworm. You get the heartworm, or the Khui, you get it from killing a giant Sakats. I might not say it right. Which is described as a giant kind of white furry animal with humongous spindly legs. You have to kill it and get the worms out of its heart and then put it into the girls in their neck. Like by cutting it in the neck and letting the worm like squiggle in there into their heart. Yeah. So she's like, look, y'all don't have to decide to do this. I'm not saying that. But you're going to die in 8 days if you don't. Don't take the Khui, you're going to die. But I'm going to leave that up to you. I'm taking the Khui though. Okay, because I'm going to be with my giant man Vectel. Everyone takes it. Some feel differently about it than others. As in giving you a little tease into what book 2 will be about. Blue Alien Man Rahash actually resonates to our girl here, Liz, which is another one of the humans that was there with Georgie. Georgie on the fallen spaceship. Actually forces her to take her Khui, even though she kind of was resisting. And that sort of sets up their enemies to lovers whole arc that comes with book 2. Much the plot of Ice Planet Barbarians. And I just can tell you, I've never been the same. I don't ever want to leave the blue aliens. I'm utterly obsessed with them. It's a little weird. It's kooky, but it's really fun. It was really fun and like such an engaging story. Like, I could see this being a movie.